What's up, y'all? My name's Pat Acuna, partner and CEO of Old Line Tailgate Company. Time is a hell of a thing. It's already been 1 full year since our first YouTube video, and we're going back to where it all began. Frederick's 4th, an Independence Day celebration at Baker Park. Last year being our first year in operation as Old Line Tailgate Company, it was obviously also our first year going out there as a company to sell food, and it was the perfect opportunity to start what will become our YouTube channel. But this video is not about last year. This video is about this year, and this year we're going back to Baker Park. It is now Tuesday, July 1st, and we've got 3 days to get ready for the big celebration. To start with today, I've got to get all my week's worth of personal crap done because I'm going to be too busy the rest of the week to do it. Actually, I haven't done it yet because I was too busy last week to do it, and I'll be too busy the week after to do it again, and running a business is hard. I got to do stuff like mow the lawn, clean out my truck. This camera is positioned very strategically so you cannot see how messy this truck is. I've got to get our camera gear in order. We've got to get our cooler system figured out. Last year, we sold out of water bottles by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so this year we're going like crazy with the water bottles, and that requires a lot of coolers. And most importantly, I've got to get a haircut. That's happening on Thursday, and I cannot wait. Then later tonight, I've got to drive out to the Frederick Wine House, that big, beautiful Maryland flag colored booze barn, to pick up Grant and the trailer. He's out there right now smoking all of our beef for this week. I asked him to film something. Let's see if he did.
Not a chance. Not this time. It's fiction. It never happened.
Boy, Grant, I'm either really impressed with your camera skills or really upset that you neglected to capture that really important footage for this video. But anyway, this video is going to be long enough on its own without me front-loading the intro. So let's get going in our biggest week of the year. Woo!
Get any video?
No, forgot.
The next morning.
Wednesday, July 2nd. Let's go! Woo! Alright, just got the trailer out to the Frederick Wine House. I'm unhooked and I'm going to Walmart to get some B&B oak charcoal because we're smoking 16 pork butts today. That's a lot of pork for a lot of people on the 4th of July. So if you've been paying attention, and I doubt many of you have, you would have noticed that we haven't been to Lowe's in a while. Last February, in our first month of business, I was at Lowe's buying bricks to make a fire pit in my backyard, and on a whim, I just asked a manager who was helping me what they thought about me bringing a food truck out there during the week. I thought they were gonna have to run it up the flagpole or email a supervisor or a regional guy. They just said, yeah, they were cool with it. So we started bringing the truck out there. Eventually, somebody higher up in the store came out. We thought they were gonna shoo us off. They actually told us to bring the truck closer to the front of the store. They were super into it. Long story short, that Lowe's store started a whole food truck program based off of us wanting to be there. We were there like 3 days a week. They had a couple other trucks that were there other days, and it was really cool. We were parked right out front. We had a great summer last year. Then they had a visit from corporate. The story we got is that the corporate people at Lowe's were not thrilled with whatever truck was out there, and it sort of led to this snowball effect that took about 8 months that involved, we had to, turn our music down. Then we had to move to different parts of the parking lot because customers kept complaining that we were taking the parking spots they wanted, which sounds like something corporate made up, but I'm not positive. I think a couple of other food trucks ticked them off somehow, but we always had a great relationship with the actual staff at that Lowe's location. Cut to last month, for about 6 weeks while we were doing our commercial kitchen build out, we had to basically shut down our truck operation since we didn't have our temporary kitchen at Dragon anymore because our permanent kitchen was being constructed in that space. We needed the truck to be parked at Dragon 24/7 so that we could cook out of it. But then after 6 weeks when the truck was back in action, we hit up Lowe's, told them that we were ready to come back out, and unfortunately they let us know that in the interim, corporate had shut down the entire food truck program. The gist that we got is that corporate used us needing to take that 6 weeks off as some kind of justification that food trucks are sketchy and unreliable, which is really the only reason I'm bringing this up now. I'm not going to pretend that food truck owners are some kind of marginalized population, but we do get a bad rap. In our micro industry, you have a pretty good combination of what I would say is 3 types of operations. The first is going to be major powerhouses. The first thing that comes to mind is Jimmy's Famous Seafood, who are, for lack of a better term, taking advantage of the food truck craze. Like, they're going to be fine. They've got a kingdom in Baltimore just churning out money. They probably don't need to have 6 food trucks that come all the way out to the Liberty Town Volunteer Fire Department grounds to compete with little old us trying to make $500 on a Tuesday. But that's capitalism. They're allowed to do that. More power to them. I hope to be in that position someday. The second category is what I would consider us to be. Career restaurant culinary professionals with decades of experience in this industry who have pivoted to try and create an extremely high-end, bespoke food truck company. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We know how to run a business. We know how to cook food. We know how to take care of people in a professional hospitality situation. And we also have a level of attention to detail and caringness that the larger regional super companies like Jimmy's probably can't live up to when everyone on the truck is an employee as opposed to an owner. Again, they do a great job. We trade food with them whenever we see them at a food truck night. They're just an example of what I would consider a larger, not problem, but just reality of what's going on in the food truck scene. I think that our category, as far as value to the customer goes, is probably the best of the 3. And speaking of 3, the third are going to be your non-restaurant professionals or culinary professionals who are chasing the dream and trying to start a career in this industry by purchasing and running a food truck. I'd say this is probably at least 50% of all food trucks you see out there, if not more, if you count the ones that aren't super active. And there's nothing wrong with that. The food truck is a great way to get into the industry, especially if it's not your primary income. You can hone in recipes and learn new techniques while you're making money, and then hopefully parlay that into a brick and mortar facility someday, if that's what you want to do. Unfortunately, within that category are going to be an entire spectrum of people who know what they're doing, who don't know what they're doing, who are hard workers, who may not be that hard of workers. It's a sampling of the population of America. So naturally, there are going to be some people who don't act professionally, who don't show up when they say they're going to show up, who don't have the best food safety standards, and who frankly just don't make great food, but still charge a ton of money for it. I guess that what I'm saying is that without being a gatekeeper, it is a fact that there is a very small barrier to entry to the food truck industry compared to the restaurant industry, which allows the market to flood with anyone who's got access to like $30,000 and a dream, which is both a beautiful thing and a frustrating thing at the same time. I guess just be aware of that. I don't really know what I'm getting at here. If you're a restaurant professional trying to get into food trucks, be aware of that. And if you're not a restaurant professional and you're trying to get into food trucks, probably talk to some food truck owners first and get an idea of what it really takes to do this correctly, because you could end up wasting just a ton of money and a couple years of your life pursuing a career that you never wanted in the first place. I think that's about as judicial as I can be about that topic. Anyway, we don't go to Lowe's anymore. Now we park at the Frederick Wine House. They're great to work with because it is an independently owned business. So the owners of the business have directly told us that they're cool with us being there. The hotel that shares a parking lot with it absolutely is not happy that we're there, but they can't do squat about it. So whatever. But overall, it's been great. And today Grant's cooking 16 pork butts. So that parking lot is going to smell friggin' delicious all day long. And that does boost sales. Obviously, why wouldn't it? Also, after yesterday when Grant forgot to film anything, my new submission this week is to try and coerce him into filming as much and being on camera as much as possible, subliminally against his will. So you let me know how I did on that while you watch the finished product. Okay, Operation Get Granted video starts right now.
16 butts.
All right, Grant, I'm handing you this camera while it's rolling. Do your best.
4, 4, 4, 4. All right. Wait, how do I stop this thing?
There's a red button that has a universal symbol for record. That's generally how you... All right, now we're gonna go to Staples here in Frederick to get all of our print materials, our signage and banners for the festival. We usually don't go so far with other festivals to create custom signage just for the event, but our pricing's a little bit different for this one. Our offerings are a little bit different. We're not doing like mac and cheese. It would just be way too complicated to pull mac and cheese off at a scale like this. And then we also have our water booth. Yeah, off to Staples. Let's go. Woo! So let's take a look at our haul from Staples. We've got here our truck menu for the festival. It's a little bit abbreviated, a little bit simplified. Pricing is a little bit different based on our cost to be at the festival, but not much different. So going out to these festivals, these larger ones, it's not a matter of whether or not people are going to be there. There's going to be tens and tens and tens of thousands of people there, which is awesome because normally, you know, we go to a smaller thing like a food truck night and it is a question of, are people going to come to this thing? We can completely skip that factor. There will be tens and tens and tens of thousands of people there. Then it just comes down to getting them to choose you. It might seem at face value that you go to one of these big festivals and it's like a smorgasbord of all kinds of different food that you get one of those and get one of those, but generally speaking, people buy one meal at these things. You know, they might get a meal and a cotton candy, but this isn't Taste of Frederick. Everyone's not just selling samples so that people can have a little nibble of everything. We're selling full-size barbecue plates. The spot next to us is going to be selling full-size seafood plates. The spot on the other side of us is going to be selling full-size Chinese plates. So not only are people not going to be hungry enough to eat multiple large meals on a hot afternoon and evening, but it adds up. People aren't going to want to spend $60 on themselves on food and drinks all day long. Long story short, the name of the game is just attention, attention, attention. It's just trying to get them to choose you over the lo mein stand next door to you. So we'll have the awesome charcoal barbecue smells going. We'll have WFRE playing on our big speaker, and we'll also have this bad boy that we've been talking about for a long time. So we always say the beautiful thing about barbecue is that it's already cooked. Even the James Beard level barbecue spots in Central Texas, your Goldies, your Franklin, Burnt Bean, Snows, all of them cook their food ahead of time because it's barbecue. That's what barbecue is. You can't cook brisket to order, or you shouldn't at least, but everything is cooked ahead of time, kept hot or cold, and then when somebody orders it, all you have to do is plate it. A lot of the time when we're at a food truck night, we'll have a couple come out, one of them will order a barbecue plate from us, and then the other will go order a fish and chips basket from the truck next to us. The individual that ordered the plate from us has their food by the time they're done paying. They then stand there for upwards of 20 minutes waiting on that fish and chip basket. I've got nothing against fish and chips. We sell fish and chips here at the Dragon's Den, but in my opinion, it's really hard to compete with how nimble and quick our service is, and we intend to use that to great effect on Friday. All right, just in case I'm about to lose anybody over this, I'm pretty sure this is the last time I'm gonna have to drive to the wine house during this video.
The next morning.
Haircut. I get my haircut now. Haircut time for me.
I got a bet on this idiot.
Today is the big day before the big day. Our massive 4th of July size food order is coming in from Savile Foods today, and we've got to process and prep all of it. Kyle and Annabelle have done a phenomenal job slowly staging and prepping most of the food for this festival. But today, the bulk of the food comes in, and we're processing all of it. I think I'm personally branding like 1,000 buns today. It's funny. It took me until age 39 when I'm branding my own brioche rolls that I realized that the term branding, like cattle branding, is putting your brand on something. We're putting our logo on our brioche rolls. We're literally branding them. I don't know if I'm stupid or I'm probably stupid. Anyway, I've already started editing this video and I know it's gonna be way too long, so I'm gonna shut up and go get my hair cut. Woo! Oh, the first Tour de France bike of the season. I swear to Christ, those guys only exist on blind curves. I've never come up on one on a straightaway. All right, let's go. Let's do this thing. All right, we're back here at Dragon, putting the finishing touches on the trailer before we tow it out to Baker Park.
What's up? Jeez, I can hear you doing the multiple takes out.
Yeah, I know. Still fun.
Edward Scissorhands.
Those are knives, Kyle. Are you cooking these now?
Yes, I got a half tray cooked in the warmer. I got a full spread on there. Full tray of chicken ready to go, and we'll have a bunch of burgers ready to go, so that we're not playing catch up all day. We're just maintaining.
Woohoo! Smoky in here.
Yeah, it's
Woo! Aubrey, are you excited for your first day working for Old Line?
Oh, heck yeah.
What are you gonna be doing?
I think I'm gonna be calling people's names and hand them their food.
Woo!
Woo!
It's bad.
How you feeling, Grant?
Not good. In fact, I need that.
All right, we are on the road with the trailer on our way to Baker Park for tomorrow's 4th of July festival. It has been so much more incredibly calm and methodical getting ready for this one compared to last year. This time last year, we'd only been in business for 4 months, I think, and now we've been in business for a year and 4 months. So we know more what to expect because we've done these festivals before, and just really proud of this company for its growth and everything we've accomplished. So happy to be back at Baker Park. Woo! All right, the trailer is unhooked here at Baker Park. We're gonna take a look around at the festival grounds around us. This festival is really park-wide. It's entirely possible and really likely that if somebody does come here to enjoy the festival, they're probably not gonna see the whole thing. We're all the way over here at the far side of Baker Park, over by the swimming pool and the tennis courts, which at first when we found out last year that we were gonna be out this way, we were bummed because growing up, I was always at the other end of Baker Park, and that seemed where all the action was. And then we got here last year, and there were easily just as many people over here as there normally are on the other side of the park. But yeah, let's take a look at our area of the festival grounds. There she be. The spot they got us in is right next to this tree, so we had to finagle it a little bit to get the window to where we could put the awning out. There's a little bit of a root structure here that might be a problem, but it is what it is. We got JB Seafood right there next to us. Not positive who's gonna be over here. All right, that's us. We got Slam Snow Cones. That's gonna be fun. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And it looks like over here we've got Tarin Thai. So we've got Thai food, then a snow cone truck, then us, and then seafood. So that's gonna be cool. That's a good mix. I like how there's no one else doing burgers or hot dogs right here on our stretch. So on the other end of that white tent, JB Seafood, we've got the swimming pool, and it's probably a solid 200 or 300 yards until you get to the next stretch of food vendors, and that's where the WFRE party in the park is going to be. We'll definitely go down there and check that out tomorrow. And then down here at the end of Fleming, that's where the tennis courts are, and there's really not any other vendors for, again, I mean, several hundred yards until you get down on the other side of the tennis courts. And again, like I said, this is kind of a regional situation where, you know, the people parked out right here are probably not going to walk, you know, a quarter of a mile down there to go check out what vendors are down there. They're probably just going to eat whatever's near their setup, and that's hopefully us. And last year we did have this tent up last year, but we really didn't do anything under it. This year we're going to have our water station set up. We'll be selling water bottles and canned sodas. We had a lot of people last year who would, this is our order area, then the sidewalk you generally keep clear, and then the line will go down this hill. And we had like several people last year wait in line for like 15 minutes just to get up to the window and ask us if we had water bottles, and by that time we were out. So this year we're gonna have a dedicated line just for drinks set up right here.
The next morning.
Friday, July 4th, 2025. Let's go! Woo!
Welcome to Old Line.
Woo! 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 All right, we're here on the truck for 4th of July at Baker Park. Everybody's outside waiting on the health inspection. What's up, everybody? Excited for the health inspection?
You're right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Come right now.
Oh, it's Trevor? I probably shouldn't film him.
Probably not.
All set.
And that is why you keep a good relationship with the health department. What's up?
Hello.
What's up, man?
I'm Aubrey, and this is before the 4th of July.
I'm Grant. This is before the 4th of July.
I'm Kyle, and this is before the 4th.
I'm Annabelle, and this is before 4th of July.
I'm Pat, and this is before the 4th of July.
It's opening time. Are you ready, Annabelle?
It's opening time. It's opening time.
It's opening time.
It's opening time.
It's opening
time. It's opening time.
I bet I can chug it faster than you can shotgun it.
Probably. I forget how to do this.
Wait.
Don't
I'm
do
just
it.
gonna chug it at the. Okay.
Oh, whoa.
Why is
you
it
already?
leaking?
It's already open.
Yes.
4th of July.
Oh, I got.
Oh my God.
Oh man. That is sweet. And bubble.
How do you
I feel alright. I feel alright actually. Hey, Old Line, it's time for snacks. Old Line, it's game day every day with your family here at Old Line. What is the thing that people say when they're at that airport? They're like, I'm at BWI and it's time for Old Line.
Hey y'all, welcome to Old Line.
That was
All right, we're a couple hours in, and as expected, it is a little bit slow to start. We do have somewhat of a lunch crowd, but it will pick up big time as we get closer to the fireworks this evening. We got a long way to go, still about 8.5 hours left. Woo! Woo!
Hey, at Old Line, it's game day. Hey, Old Line.
Are you ready for some barbecue? Happy 4th from Old Line Tailgate Company. Woo! starting to get kind of busy. The energy is palpable, dripping with it. All right, we got our hit. It has been super busy the last 2 hours or so. Sales are up, hot dogs are on the grill.
And Obby is tired.
Obby?
Obby.
Obby is tired.
Done to your smoked sausage? How big is it, first off?
8 ounces. Dang, what a week. Once again, Celebrate Frederick never fails to deliver. Another very successful Frederick Festival, and we are very grateful to be allowed to be a part of it. This company continues and continues to impress me. We just had our biggest sales day ever, as well as our most profitable sales day ever, and it felt like nothing. Thank you to every single one of you that came out and bought food. We actually had a couple dozen people come out for lunch and then return like 5 hours later for dinner. The fact that a noticeable amount of people chose to have us twice instead of trying some of the other great food that was out there is something that we're like sneakily really proud of. That says a lot more than you'd assume, to have that many options and choose to have our food twice. Unfortunately, there was a minor medical event that happened at our truck during the firework display. Everyone's fine. Everyone ended up in their own homes that night. But because of it, we obviously didn't film anymore that night just because of everything going on, and then also having to break down the truck and get it back to Dragon. It was like 1 a.m. by the time I realized that I didn't finish the video I've spent a week making. But thank you to the first responders who were there at Baker Park all day long to make sure that that event didn't turn into something more serious. But that's gonna do it for this one. Once again, we do not beg for subscribers, so hang out or don't, but we would love to see you in the future for more tailgating adventures. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on highway living, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.